Hey guys, welcome to the happy. Ah, this is not the Happy Tuesday podcast. Oh my goodness. Wow, that kind of rolled off the tongue. Okay, no, this isn't the Happy Tuesday podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the Dear MG podcast. I am the MG, which stands for Modest Girl. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you know that this comes from the For the Modest Girl YouTube channel. And if you're not, if you're listening to this where you're streaming your podcast, welcome. I am the MG, the Modest Girl. So this podcast, just a little history. This is like a history podcast. This is an opening introduction, get to know me. And hopefully I'll get to know you in later podcast episodes. Yeah. Okay, so this podcast is going to be more of an advice column podcast. So more chit chats with me, more how I would approach situations. I'm hoping to have you guys write in to the Dear MG program, or even having you guys write in through email. And that'll be a work in progress, and I'll link everything in the description box so that you guys can be updated as well. I am actually pretty excited because I think this podcast, like the Happy Tuesday podcast, has a lot of promise. This is take 2. So the Happy Tuesday podcast was my baby project. It was my first podcast, and I enjoyed recording and I enjoyed editing because I am very much so audio based. That podcast did not have a visual component as this one does. And the Happy Tuesday podcast was all about encouraging and uplifting people, which is also going to happen on this podcast. However, this podcast is going to be really mostly me. The Happy Tuesday podcast, my goal for it was to have guests and to be able to have dialogue about some of the important topics that we face on our day-to-day as adults and as young adults coming up as well. However, with my schedule and with the schedule of some of my guests, it just didn't coordinate. Or some of the guests that I would ask just were not into it and felt shy or didn't feel like they had anything to offer, even though I felt that they had a plethora of things to offer. And that's okay. I'm not one to force somebody to do something just because I want them to do it. You see, you got to be able to see it in yourself. Even though I see it in you, you have to be able to see it in yourself. And that's okay. So this podcast is really going to be mostly me talking and answering your questions, and answering the questions that you guys write in, like advice questions, and how I would answer it, and how I would advise any one of my friends or you guys, the viewers or listeners, on how to proceed and how to answer your questions. Now, I am not a guru. I'm not licensed to be giving advice. I'm just giving advice as a girl to girl, or as a girl to a guy, or as a friend to friend. The advice that I'm going to share on here is advice that I would give my close friends. I'm not here to sabotage any of your guys' life. I want everybody to succeed, and I want everybody to win. And so that's really the point of this podcast. Why podcasting and why visual component? Now, so I listen, right? I was a little hard-headed for the Happy Tuesday podcast, and people said, you should do YouTube. You should get your content out there so you can reach a broader audience. And I said, no, I don't want to edit videos. I just want audio. And with the visual component, you can't look crazy. Some of the Happy Tuesday podcast episodes I was recording, I was in a bonnet. Okay? And I can't do that now, which is fine. It's okay. I can do the effort. I can make the effort to actually come on here and look presentable to you guys, okay? But I could look crazy in an audio thing because nobody can tell. How would they know? How would they know? But now you guys are going to call me out, and if you see me looking crazy, you guys are going to comment, girl, what happened to you? What are you doing? This is not visually pleasing for me. And I want you guys to call me out on that. So I'm going to be more consistent with that. And as well, this is just an adjunct to the actual YouTube channel for the Modest Girl. If you're not following me on there, please subscribe. Follow me. Check it out. give me a comment, give me a view, and see what you like about it, what you don't like about it. I am always open to hearing what you guys think and how I can improve. Because I can only improve from my standpoint, what I see. But if other people tell me, hey, you missed this, or hey, I would do this differently, it's great to get other perspectives. So I'm excited to start this out and see how it goes. Get into it. So the first Dear MG question that I have goes like this. Dear MG, I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend for about 2 years, and while I love him, we aren't emotionally connecting. The chemistry is great, and the emotional connection used to be strong. Nowadays, we hardly talk about our feelings, and I feel lonely even when we're together. I bought a deeper conversations card game through Amazon to try and start deeper conversations, but they usually end up being surface level discussions about our day-to-day. I want to tell him how I feel, but I'm scared I will sound demanding or overly dramatic and possibly create a problem instead of solve it. On the other hand, if I don't say something, we might drift further apart. How should I approach the situation and rekindle the emotional intimacy we had before? Sincerely, Unsatisfied Lover Girl. Well, thank you for writing, Unsatisfied Lover Girl. I am so happy that you took your time out to write and let me know what you're thinking. And hopefully I can give advice that helps you. So I guess, how would I approach this? So you've been in a relationship with your boyfriend for 2 years. You guys are having surface level conversations, not so much deep conversations, more so day to day. You did buy a card game to try and increase the conversations that you guys are having, but you're also scared of telling how you feel because you don't want to sound dramatic or create a problem. These are valid. I will say, however, this is when it's important to know who you're dating. I think it is dangerous territory when you're dating somebody who you have to walk on eggshells around. This is not healthy. You should be able to talk to your partner about anything. You should be able to call your partner anytime to talk about things, or set some time if they're busy, if they have like a hectic schedule, to where you guys can set some time to have an important conversation. Now, buying the card game on Amazon, I commend you for that and I applaud you for that, because it gives you prompts on things that you can talk about, and it kind of guides you and your partner on conversation topics that you feel like you're lacking. I also think it's important with how you deliver or how your communication style is, okay? I always say it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. So if you come off on the offensive, if you come off in an attacking way, like, don't talk how we used to, I don't know what's happening, I always feel lonely, I'm lonely in this relationship, and he's the type of person to automatically take that as an attack, you didn't solve anything here. If you talk to your partner that way and he listens to you that way, then by all means do it, because that's what works for you guys, right? That doesn't work for me. I'm very much so, okay, how can I word this in a way that doesn't make you seem like you're inadequate, but I'm feeling some type of way. So how I would approach this would be to come up and talk to them and say, hey, I was really hoping that we could get some one-on-one uninterrupted time, just me and you, to play this card game that I got on Amazon. I know you're super busy, I'm super busy too. I just miss you, and I miss how we used to talk, and I really would love to sit down and go through this card game and answer some prompts together. Ladies, we're wired differently. We want to talk about our emotions. We want to go deep in conversation. If you're not with a man who's emotionally intelligent, or in general, in any man, men are mostly report speakers. Give me A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because I think that's how they've just been programmed to be. Unless they're comfortable with you, they might give you more than just the basic conversation, but I think men they don't really talk about their emotions because, unfortunately, they don't really have many safe spaces for them to do that. So, how do you cope with not having a safe space to talk about your emotions? You talk about report. You give A, B, C, D, E, F, G facts, and you don't go into depth about them. As women, we're programmed and trained to talk about how we feel, to talk about how we see this and how we view this and how, we're programmed that way. So with that being said, definitely show him some grace. He might not even know that he's doing this. And if he does, and he's doing it on purpose, maybe it's time to reassess and reevaluate the relationship. But if it's just he's busy and he's gotten comfortable with you and he loves you, obviously, he's just busy in his life, or the relationship has gotten really comfortable, you guys aren't going to go into deep conversation. So my best advice to you would be to talk to him how I told you to talk to him. And then also to make time and let him know how you feel. Never, as a woman and as a man, if men are watching this, you should never feel that you have to walk on eggshells around your partner. Being in a relationship is a 24/7, double time, overtime job. If you want to talk to your partner at any time, you shouldn't have to feel like, hey, I don't want to talk to them, or I can't tell them this. Why are you with them? If you can't talk to your partner and tell them, hey, I didn't like that you did this, this made me feel this type of way, and you're just sweeping things under the rug, eventually the rug cannot hold anymore. There's only so much you can sweep under the rug until it becomes a mess. Okay? And we're not sloppy people. We're not sloppy girls. So that's what I would recommend. And hopefully your guy will listen to you and say, all right, where am I lacking? All right, I'm going to give you this hour and we can talk about it. You'll be happy and I'll be happy that I'm making you happy. Yeah. So I hope that helps, and please write in and let me know if it works. If you have other questions, if any of you guys who are listening or watching have questions, please let me know. And cheers to the start of the Dear MG pod. Hopefully take 2 goes better than take 1. All right, bye.